My name is Calliope, daughter of the sky god Zeus, and muse of much renown. Sit here at my perfumed feet as my poem unfolds before you, an epic that springs from the depths of the sea and finds its end upon strange shores. For this is your story, the story of Argonus, son of Argus the shipbuilder and friend to Jason the hero. Our tale begins like many a sailor's story before it, with tragedy and a lilting song that carries from one dark wave to the next. Awaken. Book 1. The Blight. This owl seems unaware of its preternatural perch, and unconcerned with the plight of a shipwrecked sailor. A frozen scream is etched upon the face of bewitched Typhus, helmsman of the Argo. Never again shall he foretell the rising of black waves. 'Tis the faithful Argo, her weathered hull rent, her stalwart crew scattered, dead or lost to the endless sea. A faint melody can be heard as the sea wind blows past her figurehead. This statue, if it could be called thus, is that of Hylas, a man whose hands brought ore to water not but a day ago. Acastus, the son of King Peleus and a lifelong consort, reaches in vain, his sun-baked flesh now that of ashen stone.
May these words recount the strange toils of Argonus, chronicler and maker of maps, washed up on strange shores and awakened by the voice of a goddess. What brought me thus, kneeling upon white sands? 'Twas a fell song, carried from one wave to the next, until it met the faithful Argo and pulled her deep, shattering both bow and stern. Now she lies broken amongst sharp rocks, never again to bring men to great adventure. Oh, and what adventures! All that could have been and now will never be. They are as foam upon pounding surf. The fickle gods, the very ones to whom this sailor offered tribute, have scorned us, forsaken us without rebuke or counsel. They have cast me upon bedeviled sod and set horrors before my eyes. My brethren, the fabled Argonauts, are no more. Men I supped with just a day hence are now naught but pallid and sorcelled stone, to be ravaged by wind and storm. Indeed, I am a man of many sorrows, but shall I not press onward? For good or ill? Mayhap the blight that has taken these brave men has not overcome all. Though my body's weary, my brow feverish, I shall not abandon them. So says Argonus, son of the shipbuilder Argus.
This wild sheep appears interested in nothing more than the grasses that grow upon this beach. Light glints off this strange carved stone, half buried in the sand. No craftsman could sculpt a child so lifelike, nor create that which now stands lifeless. The death that haunts this isle did not spare even a child from its sorcerous wrath. The water that flows from these rocks would keep even the most stalwart from discerning what lies beyond. This statue is of Amphitrite, Queen of the Sea. Sadly, the goddess did little to hinder the decimation that litters these rocky shallows. This rotten timber is too small to be a yard for the mast. While man may have birthed this massive sculpture from the isle's bedrock, deep waters now embrace it as their own. This statue would appear newly struck, as the salt of the sea has yet to assail its stone. This hound was not spared the fate that befell the other inhabitants of this isle. 'Tis naught but a fisherman's net, set so the west winds can reach its sodden threads. An impossible horse with snow-white wings grazes upon a hillock, unaware, or perhaps indifferent, to a sailor's presence. Whether spooked or merely provoked, the stallion launches itself from the cliffside before mighty wings carry it far above the awestruck sailor below. Nearly 200 men high, the massive bronze soldier stands silent, enthralled by the euphonious song, rise a semblance of Pasiphae, the immortal daughter of the sun god Helios, guards the entrance into this mountain. This statue is of Minos, the king of Crete, and son of Zeus and Europa. The bell-shaped flowers of this mandragora are common throughout the Isles of Greece. 'Tis Palamonius, son of Olenane Lernus, whose bodily frame and valor no man could match. This young woman, most likely a temple worshipper, seems to have been frozen in time. This child was not struck down by mortal ills, but surely by something that is beyond this world. This grotesque statue is that of Honorable Castor, skilled to guide swift-footed steeds. Finding a trinket such as this upon these shores, let alone within the boughs of this tree, must surely be a portent. The head of a once giant stone statue lies half hidden in tall grass and underbrush. An unseen hand forces Argonus from his feet and into a dense thicket skirting the stone path. A soothing voice murmurs in his ear as the sailor witnesses the passage of things only spoken of in tall tales, and even then, in whispers. "Be quiet for but a moment," the voice counsels. Once the otherworldly creatures fade from sight, Argonus pulls himself from the dust and gazes skyward. Before him, held aloft, is a handsome woman, replete with glory and power. How many times must fair Athena save one man? The immortal asks, her head tilted with uncommon grace, her eyes soft. Before words can form on Argonus's lips, she continues. "'Tis not a query to be answered so readily, sailor of the Argo. Shadows gather," she says. "There is a blight upon this isle. Have you not seen its handiwork? The flesh of your companions no longer flesh. Their bones, that of the earth." The woman's eyes drop. "I fear my own hand may have set these dire events into motion. For this, I will make amends. But know well, many of your brethren yet live, for I have seen them with my own eyes. Find them, Argonus of Crete, and as I did for your father before you, I shall provide a boat and passage from this isle. You have the word of fair Athena." Not a heartbeat later, the goddess is gone, and breath gladly returns to the sailor's lungs. The statue is certainly that of the hero, Oileus, peerless in courage and strong in spirit. 'Tis Phalurus of the Ashen Spear. His father, great Alcon, shall never again welcome home his prodigal son. No doubt struck by the hand of an Argonaut, the head of the Hydra lies lifeless, its flesh still warm to the touch. Poor Canthus, son of Abas. Never was there a sailor more eager to quest or raise weapons against a common foe. It is said that he was granted an enchanted weapon from Ares himself. Hail, strong Erebotes, the son of Iris, skilled in the seer's art of seeing between the mortal coil and the dark veil beyond. Calais was a welcome comrade, and could fashion ships to make trial of the seas with heavy oars. Taenarus has lost a great son in Euphemus. He was the most swift-footed of men, and was wont to skim the swell of endless seas. 'Tis the visage of strong Asterius, son of Hipparasius, who stood 200 men against the Gagenes on the land of the Doliones. If not for its stone plight, this Methosian hydra is like the one said to have been brought low by Heracles during his 12 labors. This wayfarer's spear is both a formidable weapon and a sailor's crutch.
Blessed are those who chance upon this manuscript, only to marvel, perhaps in disbelief, that a goddess appeared, let alone spoke, to a simple sailor. Whether for grandiosity or merciful boon, fair Athena has once again brought me from certain harm. Yet this time it was not from deep water's grasp that she pulled a drowning man. This peril moved quickly, set high upon slithering tails. 'Tis true, for I have beheld such. And what wisdom flowed from the lips of the goddess, parting to mortal man? Admonishment? Pity? No, naught but hope. Upon each honeyed word I clung, drawn to them as a moth to a distant light within a dark wood. Then a covenant was struck between fair Athena and this sailor. Find my stalwart companions, those who yet live and are scattered upon these shores. And though horrors surely await, she will lead us down gentle paths to a waiting boat and safe passage from this isle.
One can become extremely ill consuming the berries from this black nightshade. Using the broken spear, Argonus plucks the necklace from its roost before laying it about his neck. Small ticks, like droplets of water, emanate from within this stone pedestal. The stone drops neatly into the groove, and the great eye slowly moves, revealing a hidden passageway. The lovely purple color of this flower conceals its poisonous nature. This woman was no doubt on her way to pay tribute within the temple. Her last moments of horror remain etched upon her face. Ancient tome in hand, This priest was caught unawares, and is now made of the same stone as the carved god behind him. While this woman was surely an attendant of the temple, she shall never again set evening lamps alight. Even the pious have not been spared the bewitchment that has befallen this isle. Unlike the unearthly statuary that inhabit this isle, this towering statue of Poseidon shows the workmanship of a master sculptor's hand. The owl appears mildly interested in the wanderings of wayfaring sailors. Removing the necklace, Argonus holds it before the statue, praying silently that Poseidon recognizes it and grants audience to a weary wayfarer. The great sea god does not disappoint. Within seconds, marble shudders, foundations shake, and the heart of Argonus is quickened. The Lord of all waters speaks.
Who would call upon Poseidon, only to be found wanting of tribute or song?
Poseidon stretches forth his arm.
Where are my consorts and vassals? Look about you. You may seek them, but they will not be found. They have deserted me, forsaken me in this darkest of hours. And who has set loose the scourge that you have borne witness? Athena's puppet, the son of Danae and Zeus himself.
The sea god pauses for a moment, taking measure of the sailor before him.
Yet, even so, my anger is not fit to be laid upon the shoulders of my bondservants, let alone set upon one whose necklace bears my mark. Leave me to my grief and seek me no more. I have opened a way for you. Take it if you wish, or abandon it. It matters little.
The statue of the sea god turns his gaze away from the sailor and speaks no more. This stone is bereft of markings, offering no explanation for the small depression set into its surface. The yellow light it emits is curious. Painstakingly carved by the pious, reliefs such as this can be found in any temple from here to Lurcia.
I have offered many a prayer to the gods of the sea, fervently petitioning favor while tossed upon great swells within dark storms. Yet it was not until my foot felt consecrated ground that any scales of disbelief fell from my eyes. Within my heart, I feared the very thing that has taken grip of the isle has rendered this temple nothing less than a tomb. For those who would worship here have succumbed as well, now the same ashen stone as those who pulled oars upon the Argo's salted decks. But within the midst of the dead, did mighty Poseidon, Lord of all waters, arise and speak, his voice a trumpet within sacred halls. Anger and fury rode upon his words, and a great grief followed close behind. He spoke of the son of Danae and of Zeus, whom I know from my studies to be honorable Perseus. But even with this discernment, how that hero is culpable for such great sorrows is, in itself, a great mystery. And though I paid no honor to Poseidon, nor did I bring him tribute or sacrifice, grace fell from the sea god's hand. My form was spared his wrath, and the rush of great waters grew distant until they could be heard no more.
The soft white wool of this ewe has been transformed into grey pitted stone.